presenter, who is Yoad Dvir, cybersecurity specialist, enterprise security executive at Microsoft. And
Hey.
this is the beginning of the presentation, though. But as per my knowledge, he's gonna discuss how to survive in such a, I would say, challenging environment for the cybersecurity experts. So, Yoad, the floor is yours.
Hey, Linus, thank you very much. Just making sure you can see my beautiful screen background. You can hear me, you can see me, so I can start.
Absolutely, I can confirm.
Super. So let me just minimize that. Feel free to jump in. So thank you very much. So my name is Yoad. I'm a cybersecurity ninja for Microsoft CE. And super happy to be here today with you. Thank you, Kiran, for making this happen. Always at your service. Super happy. Thank you, audience, for being here, watching, listening. And I try to condense as much knowledge as possible. And I'm also putting my time clock because those of you who know me, well know that I can take this all the way long throughout the day. So 15 minutes. And what I want to talk about today, exactly like Linus was saying. Linus, we are now in full presentation mode. If something happens, let me know. I want you to amplify your cybersecurity career and giving you things that work for me and work for my peers and for the community around CE. And also I'm based out of Tel Aviv, Israel. So there's a super vibrant ecosystem for cybersecurity. I hope that, COVID comes down and you can come and visit us. We have a huge dev center and huge startup ecosystem. So I'll be very happy to show you around. Steaming hot, great food. If you want to connect, also this is my LinkedIn address. And let's start talking about cybersecurity career and those things that are working for me, and best practices. Maybe you'll take one or two. You don't have to do everything, but I'll give you the high level. So I'm going to tell you a story. Right. Some of the things that I'm going to share with you today are like train the trainer. Okay. So basically, I'm a strong believer in storytelling, but we'll get back to storytelling in a second. The main thing is that it has to be memorable. So how do we actually survive a career in cybersecurity with all that's happening with the offense, defense, changing of the tool, changing of the mechanisms, new vulnerabilities and exploit coming up? Every day, this is mind-boggling. How do we get proper sleep at night and stay happy, right? Because we can be woken up in the middle of the night. That happens not once, not twice, and over the weekend, of course. We are like in a SWAT team mindset. Whenever we start a new career as a CISO, as a risk officer, right, working for a vendor, this is like SWAT team, and we have to take some breathing and take some energy with us. So I want to start my discussion and journey with for those with the structured mindset. Some of the things we definitely do in Microsoft in our teams, and I'll be very happy to share with you. So this will be the first chapter. So our direction in work, life, and love, right? So at times it may feel like we're just floating and landing in different, companies, moving between roles like fish in the sea. I can also tell you and share firsthand, and I'm sure that many of you will sympathize with that. If you're active on LinkedIn, for example, you'll be getting job proposals, right? And because long story short, the interest rates, etc. There's a lot of money pouring into cybersecurity, and there's big money, and the big players, the big cloud providers are also entering, cybersecurity and establishing their foreground in cybersecurity with rigor, right? So that means the big money is there. So how do you know if someone is offering to pay you, 30% more than what you're making today? Is that a good decision to go or not? Do you want just to flow? Do you want to be a mercenary of cybersecurity and just work for a different one, or you want to develop your career in a more traditional ways? Those are there's no one question, one answer suits everybody, right? So you have to know your strength, right? Trust me, this is not a cliche discussion. I'll try to make it as tangible as possible. So you have to know your strength. What are you really good at? Like implementing solutions, selling a solution, advocating, being the advisor, etc. Know your values, because when the landscape changes, your core and center will stay the same. What's your desire? Do you want to be a super rich man? Do you want to be the best talent? Do you want to maybe talk on TEDx talking about cybersecurity happenings, etc. What are you good at? What do you love to do? Love is the main driver of things. Now, if money doesn't matter, right? If you can start your own startup, regardless of the investment of the money, would you go for that? If it doesn't matter, what does matter to you? If money doesn't matter, do you want to make an impact? Do you want work to make up just 20% of your energy spent during the day, etc.? Do you have a special gift that you can deliver, or a calling, right? Those are important questions to consider. What do you need? What do you actually need in life? Well, not desire, need. So you need like a good pay. I need time. I need my self-fulfillment. I want a good job title because I want to send, a WhatsApp message to my family. Hey, look, I got promoted. And then, 5 minutes later, yeah, good on you. Good on you. Prestige, relationship, mobility. Do you want to relocate? You have to start prioritizing. What are you currently missing? What's not happening in your role? Maybe you can do that. Do you get to play your strengths according to your values? That's a super important question. Think about it for a second. What motivates you? Okay, be true to what you really like and what you really want, on the other hand. Now, what do you value most now and in the future? Because remember, things will change. Things that matter to you now, if you don't have kids, for example, kids will change how you look on your career, and this can change over time. Now, how can you continue to grow? Apply a growth mindset. Again, it's not a cliche, but you have to start thinking, okay, I want to grow. I want to learn something. I want to learn a new skill. I want to learn how to talk to my management. I want to learn about compliance solution. I want to talk about risk. I want to learn about all the coolest vulnerabilities. I want to get a new certification, right? Now, it's super important. Sometimes we don't assess ourselves in the most, either positive or negative way, but we're not honest with ourselves. So ask for feedback, right? Ask for feedback. I ask for feedback. Be prepared. Don't be afraid of being vulnerable. Oh, sometimes the feedback is not as you desired, but keep on asking for it. And the flip side of the coin for asking for feedback is find a mentor. Mentor is super cool, and someone that you have a common language, not just someone that's high up in the food chain of your company that's going to advise you, someone that you really connect to. And seek and attend trainings. Cool. Now, what does success look like to you? Define long-term goals. I want to be a VP for Microsoft. I want to be a product leader for my company, right? I want to sell my company for $1 zillion, right? And then short-term goals. We'll get back to that in a second. Now, moving up the ladder of specifically cybersecurity or IT, you can move up. You can move laterally. Speaking of moving laterally, you can even sometimes we see that with remote working, people want to be individual contributors, so they're even looking for a demotion, right? I don't want to be a team leader anymore. I don't want to be responsible for the entire protection of the company. I want to be a technician. I want to be an engineer because I enjoy it and I do it really well, and that coexists with my family needs, right? Maybe you want to be an expert. I'm not interested at all in becoming a manager. I don't want to do reporting. I don't want to do people management. You hear me? Also, the value path. I want to make an impact. I want to advise. I want to take on volunteering tasks. Okay. Now, also, a nice exercise. I'm sure that 90% or 99% of you won't do it, but the ones that will do that will be successful. Write a letter to yourself, right? Dated 1 year from now. If there's a background noise, I apologize for that. There's some kind of a helicopter above me. Anyway, I think it's gone. Thank you. Write a letter to yourself. Long-term goal. I want to be a manager, a leader. I want to relocate to another country. What do I need to do for that? Or move to different roles. Short-term career goals examples. Become an expert on some question or topic. Create a website for yourself. We'll talk about branding in a second. Delegate more work effectively. Okay? Be able to say no and only say yes to things that you really need to do yourself. Double down on your productivity, right? Double down on productivity. I want to be more productive. I want to maybe work less hours, but be more productive. I want to be earn a certification or complete training, right? And maybe just, I want to update a resume. I want to update my CV, which has been dragged on for years. Now, how can I, as, for example, hypothesis, as your manager or someone else can help you, create your career map, my job fit, my company, my team, my values, and then how that matches my strengths and my values. We have a full template for that. If you want it, feel free to reach out. I haven't put it all here from obvious reasons, but the template is there. You have to start, and I said at the beginning, those are for the structured minds. And some people say, I just go with the flow. I learn. I listen to podcasts. I listen to video blogs. I read. I follow Paula. I follow, Thomas. I follow all the experts there. And then, I just grow, and then naturally I will, and organically it will grow, right? Or some people saying it, I need to line that up on a piece of paper. Okay, just choose whatever works for you, but have a plan. Now, also moving on next, time check. Okay, choosing the right place and role, right? Think about it this way: combating the half-life of tech skills and training. So practitioners in the cybersecurity space often reference to the half-life technical skills, meaning that most professionals will lose 50% of their value every 5 years. And for technical roles, it's even shorter. Now, my point here is choose your next role based on an organization that spend a good amount of money on security training. They have a budget, they have a plan, they have the resources to allocate you to get certified, right? Just see how, just looking on the chart, most organizations, the average training budget is somewhere between 10K and 50K US dollars, right? But if you are going for a very high lucrative company, it's a very good question to ask them, how much do you spend on trainings, etc. Also, when choosing the next career move, for example, or maybe assessing your current role, right? Do this in a segment or a vertical, whatever suits you, kind of thinking. Because, for example, typically and traditionally, our agriculture will have less size or smaller teams for security. Whereas if you look on finance, most of them will have bigger teams by average. So if you want to be able to grow, and sometimes with bigger teams come bigger trainings or bigger opportunities, becoming a team leader, department leader, chief security, which is more lucrative. So keep that in mind. Don't just go, all right, I got a proposal. How do you assess that? Or I work for a company. Can I really be promoted? Right now, something really important that going forward, and those are really the things that I found that work for me, and I really like this meme on the side. Security managers be like, spend 100K on a new security tool and just realize the team is just too busy to use it, right? So I'm going through the bullets on the side. Just added them. They're super relevant. So how many security tools exist in your organization? 40, 50, 80. We see those. One of the biggest trends of 22 is to dissolve useless tools and tighten up the security stack. Nevertheless, we're still seeing massive adoption of various new tools that have high overlap with the existing tools, but not necessarily they play together nicely with the existing one. What's the point? We're still seeing that people buying. I don't know if it's pressure or stress or God knows what. Now, also the industry, second bullet there, industry average of the tools utilization is somewhere between 20 and 30%. So why test new tools when the existing ones are underutilized? More tools will not necessarily add value or make your environment more secure. So instead, and also third bullet, instead of investing in another round of testing and new tools, plus implementing and adopting and getting people to use them, plus training them on the new tools, you'll be better off with investing in current process and advance your teams. So the bottom line of this slide will say that if I want to become more influential, you have to be that simplifying, to be a genius of security. You can tell a very coherent message, how to articulate the cybersecurity story, in a coherent way. How do you tell a simple security story about your organization, about what you sell? It depends which side of the stack you are. And you need to be able to articulate that to the management, all the way up to the board and all the way down. This is the secret sauce. You need to be able to tell a coherent story, top and bottom. Now, also reality in the future, and Thomas really played that out well. We have the conflict going on. We'll definitely see growing investment in security across Europe. Homeland security will grow exponentially across the course of the next years. Germany, France, Italy, Japan, China to exceed 2% of their annual GDP spendings on homeland security and offense tools. Agriculture and grain production also to grow well due to the due to the conflict. Countries like Australia, Brazil, Argentina, Canada, and the USA will be doubling down their agro-industrial power. And also, more importantly, cyber warfare will be key part in future modern wars, and cybersecurity companies will enjoy even a greater flourishment. So the next war will be about, disabling weapon systems, about damaging infrastructure, admin systems, and communications. And of course, you have, when going after your next career path, you have to choose, do I have a defensive mindset or do I have an offensive mindset? And that will dictate your future move. That's super important, because if you work for an offense company, then my time is up. So I've got more to say. If I can spend 2 more minutes, that's fine. If not, give me the cue. Working for offense security and working for defensive cyber are two different things, two different mentalities. You have to be honest with yourself. Few more things that are really working for us. First of all, be excited about what you say. I hope that although this is remote, right, I'm conveying the excitement to you, right? You have to be memorable. You have to stick out, because everybody is telling the same message. You go to a cybersecurity conference and 90% of the companies sound, and the vendors or, implementers, they seem the same. You have to be memorable. Right? You have to deliver your X factor, and X factor is to be able to tell a coherent story over social media and over digital sales. This is the story. So if you're excited, your audience will be too. I hope you're captivated as well. Remember, people seek guidance. Be their trusted advisor. Be authentic, right? Be the subject matter expert. Genuinely care about your client's success. Long-term relationship. Know the strengths of the core competencies. Even if you are a seller, for example, or an IT practitioner, you have to know all the way down to the bits and bytes, and show confidence. And don't confuse confidence with ego. Now, when I say a cybersecurity story, this is, for example, a screenshot of how we train our security team. So how to train your elevator pitch, how to remember the stack, how to go ahead and to start a conversation, how to tell an end-to-end story, what are your strengths, and to be able, for example, we as Microsoft, we sell like, 20 tools or even more, right? You have to be able to connect from endpoint to infrastructure all the way down. And one example, and I will finish up with that. One way that I tell a story, right? I start with, the shortcomings of Microsoft. Microsoft used to be quite a decade ago, or even a little bit less. Microsoft was, no, come on, Microsoft, just do something with security. And then all of a sudden, we changed that. This is one way to tell the story. I'm not here to tell you the Microsoft story, one story. So we were really crappy, pardon my French, right? Now we're really good because we are developing tools to show you, giving you insight, doing the right automation for you. This is how I tell a story. I'm just giving you an example, right? Recommendations from a faulty company on security to a magnificent company that work side by side with you, to be able for our client CISO to manage their security products like a Spartan. And also, let me skip that because we don't have time. When I continue telling the story, promise I'm be done in very, very soon. For me, when we talk about security, there's one key message. So I believe that controlling the blast radius is key. No more prevention, but rather containment, right? You have to focus on key messages when telling the story internally or externally, right? The operational strengths that your company is running is going to be key for you. And for example, always be understanding where the industry goes, where the market goes, and be able to give insights about the future. For example, here I'm showing that we have a framework that every new cybersecurity solution will go into a marketplace. No need for super large teams of sales teams. So if you are considering becoming working for a vendor, making sure that they are at par with the biggest trends. For example, the big marketplace, the Amazon, the Google, the Microsoft, marketplaces. You have to be there in order to be relevant in the future. And when I say X factor, key message: know the organization you're talking to. Are you talking about the red, the blue, the purple team? Choose one message. Are you super good on incident response? Be memorable. And final thoughts: maybe you're in a very happy place, but it may be temporary. So don't be fooled. Always assess where you are. Maybe that's a big word, and the abhorrent, like a bad place you are, maybe standing at, also temporary. Your reality is only temporary, and it's ever changing, right? So assess yourself, and don't worry. If you're in a bad place, this should pass too. And if you're in a good place, don't just dwell down on where you are and get yourself too comfortable, but rather build up for the next one. Thank you so much, and for also allowing me to take 2 more minutes. Linus, over to you, sir.
Yeah, Yoad, thank you very much. It was a very inspirational speech,
Super.
I would say.
Thank you, sir.
And while Konstantin is preparing together with Dimitar, I would like to ask you, so having all this in mind, how to not to burn out of those cybersecurity subject matter experts? Because there are a lot on the plate right now.
How not to burn out? I would say that if you have, that reminds me, I'll answer to you by giving an example of a politician friend that I have. In politics, every day the reality changes, much more than cybersecurity. There's pressure from the left wing, from the right wing, vote here, vote there. And I tell him, how do you not get confused? And he said, listen, I have my values, I have my agenda, I have my belief. If it matches my belief, something in this thread, then I go with it. If not, no. You have to have your inner compass, or what you're good at. That's your 80% of the job. For example, for me, what I'm carrying 80% of my capabilities regarding of the job. If the job is more cybersecurity marketing, that's okay, right? I can still tell a coherent story, which I enjoy, but now I need to focus more on marketing. If I do a partner's job, for example, I work on channels, then 80% is still my ability to tell a coherent story, but 20% will be enabling partners, right? If you get the point. Do whatever you like. Do what you like. Enjoy it, right? And understand what's the core value. For example, for me, it's I'm just adding here. I hope that answers. I don't want to take too much time from the next speaker, but I'll be super happy.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Linus. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you.